Sex workers of Reddit. Who was the grossest customer you've had? Story 1. A friend of mine used to work at a brothel. She told me about a client, late 40s to mid 50s, who wanted her to wear his actual daughter's clothes and do some father-daughter age and incest play. He claimed it was the only way to satisfy his urges without doing something despicable. His daughter was 14 and he was bringing in her actual clothing. Apparently he was a regular and would call ahead looking for young petite workers who were up for the extreme age play. My friend said she saw him once and was pretty creeped out by the experience, so declined him on further visits. She also said that as far as weird clients go, he was an ideal punter at face value. He was upfront about what he wanted, never pushed any of the girls' limits, and paid whatever they demanded, which unfortunately was not the standard behavior for every John. She did say that it was the most creepy client she had though. Story 2. When I was working under a service, I got called to meet with an older man in his 70s, regular to the service, that wants to take some extreme photos and receive a BJ to completion. When I got to his place, he walked me to a room with a life-size crucifix and a noose hung on the ceiling that can be lowered and raised. First set of photos, I slipped my wrists through metal hoops of the crucifix. Second set of photos, I was on tippy toes with the noose, loose-ish, around my neck. I was told to act dead, expressionless, limp. After the photos, we set up for the BJ and his dick was too low for when I'm on my knees, so he found a crate to stand on. As I was blowing him, I noticed stabbing pain on my thighs but pushed through because he was already coming. Didn't take long. I looked down and it was his gross long-ass yellow and black toenails that were stabbing my thighs. Literally dry heaving thinking about it, face vomiting. Edit. I was told about the crucifix and noose beforehand. Other girls also have gone before with no issues. When I got there and saw that the guy is really old and moves slow, I did not feel threatened or afraid, and I made sure to be observant of him the whole time for signs of aggression, but apart from the death-related fetishes, he was quite meek. After the ordeal, we shared a joint and talked for a bit. Knowing I will not be returning, I asked him how he developed his fetish with the nooses and crucifixes. He said matter-of-factly that it all started with being physically abused by his mother as a child and witnessing his mother killing herself via hanging. I was very surprised and appreciative of his honesty. Definitely one of the more eye-opening, disturbing experiences I've had in SW. Story 3. Used to work as a professional dominatrix. Had a client who brought a pet egg to a session and then ate my foot shavings. Had another client who brought yogurt to the session and paid me to watch him fuck the little Yoplait cup. The smell was atrocious. And of course, there are the many clients who never adequately prepared for a pegging. I honestly can't choose. Update. The Yoplait fucker was a Brooklyn Hasidic Jewish man, so if you choose to visualize it for some reason, make sure to include the payos, ringlets, swinging back and forth. The grated Parmesan foot cheese guy poured the contents of the pet egg, which also included my friend's foot Parmesan, straight into his mouth. I think that I grated up some more for him to take home and instructed him to actually pour it over spaghetti. Wait, was that low-key cannibalism? LMAO. Story 4. I used to be a SW, then ended up with a pimp, so I didn't really get a choice in who I accepted. One kinda gross but not the worst, was an older trick who was a regular. He would not wear his dentures and try to suck on my boob multiple times, and just thinking about it gives me the creeps. Another trick was so insistent that I shit on him. We had plans to meet, but I had to keep blowing him off because I was heavy into opiate addiction and constipated. When I finally met with him, it took me about 15 minutes to get it all out and he paid me $2,500. Didn't have to do anything sexual to him, just shit on him. Also ETA, since a lot of people are asking how much money I kept. The answer is none. He would take my money, give me drugs, as long as I was working or made the quota for the day. If I didn't want to work, he would take the drugs, until I was so dope sick that I would take more tricks, just to be not dope sick. Make sure I had a hotel room, make sure I had food, drive me to calls, run my phone, and if shit hit the fan, come and protect me. It's not something that I would have done if I wasn't suffering an addiction to multiple substances, but at the time it was relatively easy, and I didn't really care about living at that point. Pimps tend to be very manipulative, and will isolate you, so that you are fully dependent on them. I often worked at least 5 hours driving from the city I was living. I was homeless but had places to stay in, so I couldn't decide to just cut if I got sick of it.